You're listening to the Shit You Can't Make Up podcast, a conversation with friends, hosted by Marisol Sanchez.
Thanks for listening. I haven't done a podcast in a bit, so I'm a little bit out of practice. Some of the ones that were posted last week had been done a while ago. So I'm a little bit out of practice, and I'm sorry, but I will try to stay linear. But some of the reasons that I haven't podcasted is life's just been, it's been life, what it is for everyone, just busy, day-to-day stresses, just added stresses. I tend to run in circles with people who are older than me. I'm 42. But my mother is older. She's 80. I'm 42. I guess she had me, a little bit later. I don't know. What I'm trying to say is, my brothers and I have entered that stage of aging parent stage. And I've seen my friends start the stage before me. And it's like, I don't know what it is, how to describe it, but I have this ability to be able to read body language fairly well. I mean, I'm wrong sometimes, but I feel like I can read when people carry tension in their breathing and in their shoulders. I can tell when something is important to them, or when they're feeling it. And so when I heard my friends, a few years ago start talking about aging parents, I just was like, oh shit, that sucks. It sucks. And it does suck for like a lot of reasons. But, I guess it's everyone. It's part of life's circle. So I have that going on, and I got a trip to India soon, and I'm in the sad, unfortunate stage of the pre-planning of it, which also includes a lot of jumping through hoops. I don't have a life. I mean, I guess I do because I'm doing it, so I should be grateful for it. But anyway, the pre-planning of this trip, I'm a mother of three, a single mom of three, with a complicated divorce dynamic. So it's just been a fucking stressful couple of days. Not bad though. I mean, I don't want to sound like boo-hoo. I mean, I've it's life. But I'm also not physically feeling well. I've got some stuff going on personally. So it's just like, I wasn't inspired to jump on and do a podcast. Like there's nothing I wanted to talk about. And so that's like a key for me about this podcast is that if I practice something or I think about doing it and then I listen to it and I'm like, sometimes I don't even have to listen to it. I can just feel it when I'm recording it or not, if I want to share it, if I'm connecting, if this is with the story that I want to tell you. So, on that note, my inspiration for this week is actually a very old friend of mine from high school. And so I'm 42. That's almost 30 years ago. Oh my God. Oh my God. I just felt that. And he's my inspiration because the podcast is going to be about my love list. I'm going to tell you about my love list, but I'm going to tell you the backstory of my relationship with this friend. He's a friend of mine, and we knew each other in high school. We were in the same type classes. We were in the same like AP honors classes, but we didn't run in the same social circles per se. I hung out more with the swim team, water polo team. He he was Mr. Long-term relationship before I even knew what a long-term relationship was. But he was in a relationship back in high school. He's that guy. He was like in this relationship with the superstar of our high school, all through high school. And so that's our history of origin, is how we know each other. Then we became friends. I would say we became real friends freshman year college. And again, it's never been a relationship like boyfriend girlfriend. It was weird because we were friends that would talk about. But I guess this is our dynamic in life: is we talk about relationships, we talk about girls, guys, or just process the the major changes in our life at that moment. But so I do remember connecting with him in college. Didn't sleep together, and it was always, I thought it was mutual. Just it wasn't our dynamic. Okay, then of course you go that was like 1 year. So then we go our separate ways. This is before the era of Facebook. So many years of not knowing, thinking about this person. But then we reconnected on Facebook however many years ago, whenever the year that, people my age joined Facebook. But he's not I couldn't tell what was going on in his life. Some things it seemed cool, like he took some cool trips, but I didn't really, did more than the cursory, how's that friend from high school doing? But then he did reach out and connect with me before his divorce, just as a friend. And then since this, and that reconnected us, I guess, as friends. We became friends again, or at least in each other's orbits. And then I would say became friends again this year. Post his divorce, I wasn't, but he had a bad breakup recently, and so I'm here for that, to help him. I don't know, figure that out, because I just went through the same breakup, the same style, that same. When you love someone, that's the breakup he's going through. It's when you love someone and it ends, pain, and it's a sucky thing to feel post your 40s, because that's one thing about dating post your 40s. That's not what you expected. This isn't what you wanted. You wanted to be partnered off by this point. So I forgot where I was going. Okay, so that's our he's the one that inspired me to this podcast, because he's making me revisit and trying to just, be his emotional fleshlight, relive my breakup. But it's a kind of a good exercise, because me reliving it just one more time also kind of solidifies that, I made the right choices, for me. So it's just, I'm honoring that friendship, because friendships come in different, packages, and they're not all long-term, and they're not all always the same group of people. I mean, it could be. Sometimes people come in and out of your lives, and he's someone that comes in and out of my life, but it's if you look back on it, it's a sweet friendship. Okay, but so he's like so he's having a bad breakup, making me relive my own bad breakup, and so after one of these like nights of doing that, doing that thing, I started to think about, the distinction between the ones that when it ends, it hurts, and the ones where it ends or it doesn't even start and you don't think twice about. And so I then took pen to paper and I started writing down the first one, he's my first love. And, the thing about this first love story is that, it's what I loved about him. I fell in love with him. I couldn't tell you, the why, but I do remember insane physical attraction was one. Two, but I was 15 at the time, and I'm already hyper. Oh, excuse me. Sexual. So I don't know if that says much, but God, I fell for him so fucking hard, so hard. It was one of those like insanely intense relationships, and he was. I remember what I loved about him was he would hold my hand, and he was Cuban, and Cubans can be very machista. I don't know how to say that in English, but like a guy, like I don't know. Caveman, like, I don't know. But I felt protected. I felt like, I remember fighting with my mom, and these are days before, cells and texts and stuff, but he would know that I was just not having a good, and he would drive. He had this red, what was it called? Chevy Cavalier. The red Chevy Cavalier, and he, oh my God, the things we did in that red Chevy Cavalier, here's the thing, we never had sex, but really that's whatever, because we did everything but it. This is probably a good time to advise family not to listen to this podcast. Anyway, but it was an intense relationship for me. Now, something I did in that relationship that I did up until my very last relationship was, the first time I can document doing it was with him. I was pushing and pulling, always pushing and pulling. I never trusted his love for me. I couldn't just be chill. I couldn't just be like, enjoy the moment for whatever. I always assumed something tragic and dramatic was going to happen. And then it did. One of those breakups, we break up. He has sex with a fellow teammate of our swim team, and gets her pregnant. They drop out of school and get married. So it was like, it was a traumatic kind of like first love. I was devastated. I remember sitting in my room listening to, God, what's that song? See, if I had a producer, they'd put the song in and blah, blah, blah. But it's the song that they sing in Top Gun. I can't fucking think about it. But it's something Brothers, Everly Brothers or something. You've Lost That Loving Feeling. That song. Played that on fucking, just repeat. And that's on the turntable before, we had playlists and so on. So I was devastated. I was just devastated. I remember crying in my brother's arms, just crying, like that sob, like, oh, like just, it was, whoo. Still, look, I'm almost, no, more than probably, because I was sophomore year in high school, so probably 30 years ago. Still can get emotional about it. But, and it was my first love story. That was my first love story. And then the second, there was only two guys in high school that I fell in love with. I know that there were others who kind of fell in love with me, and I'm sorry if they listen to this podcast, because they'll know that. But was ironically my first love's one of his friends, and I look back at that relationship, and I remember being so in love with him on some level, but also we were friends, and the friendship meant more than any idea of, but he never. I think what I liked. I thought about this relationship a lot because that relationship um, was an important one of my youth. It was, and again, he also went to college, and but at the end, I think why when I look at his name, it makes me sad because it fills me with angst because it was just angst that I felt from it. And I don't know if I think I may have articulated it in one of those like heartbreakingly high school moment love letters. Maybe, I think, God, I hope there's, it's not okay. But, it's just angst, just, and, it's a complicated story because I do think both of us were just so sad when my first love left school. Like that was his male. They were best friends, and suddenly he was gone too. So I think we did fill a void in each other's life. We had this great trip to New York City. I was visiting cousins, and it was like sort of my first, and his parents back then, I think one of them worked for Eastern, so he got a flight up there. It's like my first, I don't know, high school, I don't know, but I remember my cousin going, what are you doing? But, and we were friends, and then those are one of those friendships you kind of lose. Like, you kind of circle back after the internet at some point, but before, we're not Facebook really friends. I mean, I think we are Facebook friends, but we don't, we have no relationship at this point. But then also all the other names. So the other names. This one was this guy in my 20s who like just repeatedly cheated on me. And I didn't really know it until the end when I spoke to it's just that mind fuck. This guy was just so unbelievable. He just made me feel bad about myself. I guess I should take ownership for it. I shouldn't put it on this guy. All these guys, this one is someone that's going to be in my life for probably, and this one just continuously still treats me like shit. So this one, and this one, yeah, that is my pattern, is to fall in love with people that I either can't have or will treat me badly. And that's a fucking huge pattern to break. So stop rushing me. And that goes back to my friend. Anyway, that might have been too raw. But see, that's when I feel like it was this is what I'm trying to do, though I don't know how you describe that. So that's the episode. Can I break this pattern? Can I, I know I can have a relationship. That's not the question. I can have sex tonight if I wanted to have sex tonight. That's not the major, like big overreaching question. The question is, can I ever really trust my judgment? But I'm also really grateful because I counter that with knowing that I have such wonderful people in my life that I don't have to just rely on my own judgment. Because I have a lot of people who look out for me, protect me. And I'm grateful for that. So thank you to all my friends, old, new, current, past. You all, I just love you dearly. So, and that's about it. I did want to talk about, like, can guys and girls really be friends? Like, my fear right now with my friend, I'm trying to, like, I probably should just send him this podcast. But it's like, okay, as soon as he does get a girlfriend, which will be imminent, he's He's long-term relationship guy. And I think he's a good guy. He'll find someone perfect for him. I have faith. But are we going to be able to be friends post that? Because there, I don't know, it's some social norm. And he's very old-fashioned. I'm not, but can you be friends with someone? It's that Harry Met Sally question, which some argue is a dumb question. I don't argue it's a dumb question because I have always had male friends, friends that are guys. I've always been able to connect with men on some level. And I think that's something I miss from when I was married. It's somewhere you just can't do that. You're not friends with guys. And you're couples friends or you have girlfriends. And if I got into another relationship, I wouldn't want to give up my connections with the friends that I have because they're one of those people. They're like one of the people that I would, hey, so this happened. Am I fucking crazy? And I don't want to lose that. So anyway, that's my podcast. Thank you for listening. Can't say that enough. I hope I didn't talk about anyone who didn't want to be talked about. I get asked a lot to not mention things on this podcast. I can't keep a running list, but it's my life. I try not to mention people's names. And the other thing is no one really, I'm not famous. So no one's connecting the dots. There's nothing, your identity, if I do talk about you, is fairly secret. You're probably the only person that knows that I'm talking about you. Maybe a handful of other people. And that's it. So that's all I got. Subscribe, please, on iTunes. Like the Facebook page. Share. Again, if you want. You don't have to. It does, anytime I see it, it just feels good, I have to say. And anyway, I hope y'all have a good week. I might have a cluster of podcasts this weekend. I might save them for when I go. I don't know. I'll see how it goes. But again, thanks, and I hope y'all have a great, great week.